Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. My God, have you guys been watching the DNC? My God, the Democratic National Convention? I mean, it's like Democrats have learned how to do it. They have learned how to do it. It was wonderful watching the whole thing. I continue to be mesmerized by it, and I hope you are too, because I tell you what, folks, one of the first part of winning is showing that energy, showing that resolve, and I tell you, they're doing a good job of it, and getting all of this stuff to work the way it's working. Getting the combined. Yesterday, there were over 40,000 people in two stadiums watching the convention. She was able to get the largest ever amalgamation of people on one event. I am telling you, there is something here. Think about it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Anyway, welcome aboard. Eric Hayes from Kingwood, Texas. Welcome aboard. Paul Fleming from Powder Springs, Georgia. Welcome to Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York. Welcome to Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain. Welcome to Carl Cox from Georgia. Welcome to Paul Fleming. Well, I called Paul Fleming out already from Powder Springs, I believe. Lee Grant from Montgomery County. We also have in the house Maywood from Long Beach, California. We also have Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia. Michael Jordan, Michael Rodney Q from the great state of New York, Brooklyn, New York. How you doing, guys? All right, let me start reading what you guys have got. Bridge says, Yvette Avery Herod, saw your video. You rock. Well, you know what, Bridge? If you're going to put that, could you put a link to the video? I want to see where our PDR Posse star is rocking. Maybe I can also make a blog out of it. So please, please throw that link. Riverdale, Georgia. Riverdale, Georgia. River, think, river, think, river, think, river. Riverdale, Georgia for Carl Cox. Bridge MCP. I want the video that you're so excited about with our sister Yvette Avery Herod. All right, let's see what else we got here. Para ver que estoy viendo aquí. Scrolling down, Lee Grant says, "Hey y'all from 102. Did it finally hit 102 in Montgomery County? I'm right next door, so it's probably 102 out here also. Let me see what it says down below if it gives me a temperature. Come on, guys, give me a temperature. It says 98 degrees where I'm at, but that's probably old. Carl Cox says Raskin was great. Yes, didn't I do the Raskin video yesterday? I think I did the Raskin video yesterday. Let's see what else we got here. Eric Hayes says, question isn't wrong that the Obama family have become super rich via politics. No, they became super rich because of his position, which is true. He became super rich because, yeah, he leveraged his position as president of the United States. But as far as saying super capitalism, no, that's not the case at all. Just like Bernie Sanders, he got rich from selling his book. He wrote his book, he manufactured his book, and he sent his book out. Capitalism, that's not what we're talking about. That's free enterprise. Capitalism would be somebody, a whole lot of people write books and do what Amazon does and takes all the books. Let's give an example. I am the sole proprietor of Willie's Media LLC. I just want to teach you something about private enterprise versus capitalism. I am the creator of all my books. I write them, I edit them, I do everything. So any mistakes is mine. Well, Bruce helps me out, and Norman helps me out for editing sometimes as well. All right, good. I create these products. I make money off of these products as free enterprise. I profit from them, free enterprise. But we have Jeff Bezos who pays another company to print my book. He then pays another company to distribute my book to other channels, etc. But he does none of the work. He owns a piece of stock in all these other companies, and he enriches himself more so than the creator, myself, or the other small companies that work for him. That's capitalism. And that is what I do not agree with. There are other models that we should be coming up with so that we get the people who actually produce are the ones who get paid. I hope you understand the lesson. If you don't, maybe I could simplify it a little bit further. All right, let's see what else we got. Egberto, great California government examples of wasting billions of dollars operating years. What is, let me see, is it New York Times? He used a reputable source. We need to commend Eric when he uses a reputable source. He used the New York Times this time. It says California high-speed rail. There's a lot of corruption, and I don't care whether it's Democrat or Republican in these transportation things. Until we start doing a whole lot of things from within, that is what's going to happen. So I haven't read the story, of course, Eric, but if you start using papers like the New York Times uh, or other sources that are reputable, we'll take you seriously. As reported on wow, you got a lot. You got really busy today, Eric. As reported on CNN. Oh, let me read Paul Fleming's first. Paul Fleming says, incumbent beat DeSantis back moms for Liberty candidates in Florida school board race. And you know what? It happened all through Florida. I think 11 of the 23 that he thought was going to win actually lost, Paul Fleming. All right, Paul also said democracy isn't just a bunch of abstract principles and dusty laws in some book somewhere. It's the values we live by and the way we treat each other, including those who don't look like us or pray like us or see the world exactly like we do. Those were the intimate words of Michelle Obama. I have two versions of her entire speech, one with all the fanfare and claps, and I reduced, that's a 20-minute speech, and I reduced it to 15 minutes for the other. I think I'm going to post both of them on YouTube later on. Eric Hayes says, as reported, let's see, on CNN via video, Chris Wallace eviscerates DNC attempt to show love to Biden. He got thrown out of a window. There is going to be a lot of talk tonight about how generous it was for him and selfless of him. He was basically forced out by Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama and Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, and I suspect even the fact that he was a surge of enthusiasm since he left Kamala Harris took his place, that's got to be pretty tough too. Okay, you got thrown out the window and everybody's applauding the person who's now in the room. Let's be clear here. Nobody is entitled. You know the difference between Democrats and Republicans? And Obama said something about failing forward. Biden, I love Biden. Biden saved the country. Biden did great things, but Biden is not entitled to the job. And if Biden couldn't see the light to leave, that he had help from others who helped him make the decision, there's nothing wrong with that. And in fact, I think it was magnanimous of those who stepped up. So I don't give a rat's ass what Wallace has to say. Wallace has went and worked for Fox News at one time. He may be clouded by the ridiculous statements that anybody has to say. Was Biden pushed out? I don't care. I really do not care if Biden was pushed out or not. It's not about Biden, that he ultimately came to the right decision and said, oh, wow, look at how things are. That is great, because it's not about Biden. It's about the country. And the fact that the country has reacted this way to Kamala Harris and they were not reacting this way to Biden proves that it was the right choice. And secondly, watch Biden. Biden, based on his current health, based on what he is doing, he could not possibly go through the rigorous campaigning that was going to be required to win the election. That's just a statement of fact. So I don't give a rat's ass what Chris Wallace has to say. And by you putting that Eric Hayes, oh, look at what Chris Wallace says, they dumped Joe Biden. It's either Joe Biden was going to leave because we understood that he couldn't, that he understands that he couldn't win. He did a great job, but he was one of the best presidents in this country. Absolutely. But as he says now, he's too damn old. If I were too damn old, I would generously leave. I don't want to hurt my country because I refuse to leave when I should leave. So all these people that are trying to make it seem that, oh, something was done badly to Biden. No one is entitled to the job. You earn the job, you work for the job. That's how it goes. The only party that allows that is that other party that has Trump entitled, a fraud, because it's Trump, a fraud entitled to run. How good is that working for them now? Nikki Haley was prophetic. Nikki Haley was prophetic. All right, continuing. Let's see. Hayes and CSAC attack Dems because they do not worship their cult leader Trump. You're right about that, Carl Cox. Let's see. Bree says that was funny, Michelle, on black jobs. I know, and Obama with crowd size. I know. Last night was fire. So says Stagan Birkin Creek. Hey, Stagan, there was something you said yesterday that the Kamala Harris campaign is going to handle, and I'm glad you mentioned it. I want to clarify it with you. You were saying that Democrats should stay away from the immigration issue. And I said, no, I don't think so. And apparently, the campaign also now is going to actively take on immigration as I think they should. In fact, I believe Donald Trump gave us a gift. When Donald Trump forced his sycophants not to support the immigration bill, they immediately took it on themselves. So now they are the ones responsible for us not having an immigration policy. And they're going to actively go on that. And they're going to, again, like I said, if you're on the defensive, you're losing. If you're on the offensive, you're winning. I don't care if they said you caused all those people to come overboard. No, we didn't. You did, because you refused for us to get a policy to do so. And I think it's great. Hey, B. Huffman from Yosemite, California. Welcome aboard, B. Huffman. Love to have you here. Thank you so kindly for being here. Let's see what else we have. Still crying happy tears from last night. I know, B. Huffman. I know. Let's see. 62 here. Sweats weather. Oh my God. I hate you, Breach. I hate you having such good weather. You know I love you, girl. I couldn't hate anybody. Uh, let's see. Look, if I love Eric and CSEC and these guys, how could I possibly hate any of you guys? And I mean, I say that from the depths of my heart. All right. Let's see what else we got here. What else have we got here? According to AFL-CIO, the CEOs of Standard and Poor 500 corporations made an average of 17.7 million last year. That's over 268 times their median workers' income. It would take more than 5 career lifetimes for workers to earn what the CEO receives in just un año, in just 1 year. It's ridiculous. Lee Grant says Kamala Fest continue, but there's a lot of cops, walls, angry people, arrests, etc. Nope, that's what you see in Chicago on your screens. Look at the angle of the camera. Not even the 20,000 they thought were going to materialize to turn this into 1968 would occur. All right, let's see. Yvette Avery Herod, thank you for the link, Yvette, or a link directly to the video. Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and copy that so that I can take a look at that link. You know, I want to see what my peeps are doing now. Don't be hiding that stuff from me, man. You guys are family. We need to have all this stuff now. You know what I mean? Yvette, we're family, girl. All right, let's see what else we got here. Mike Cisak says, so leftist rags are reputable sources. No, the New York Times is so far from leftist, it isn't fun. In fact, we think it's owned by the right. Hey, Bruce Pollard say, yo, welcome, Bruce Pollard from Kingwood, Texas. Let's see, Steigen Bergen Greek says, why, for the love of all that is holy, did we not nominate Michelle Obama? She is so amazing. She showed that last night she would win the biggest landslide in American history. Let me tell you something, and I'm gonna be raw here. Uh, that's how a lot of people felt about Obama. And yes, Obama did win, and yes, he won in an electoral landslide. And I think he got the largest electoral vote. I don't remember how much he beat Romney by or what things by. But once you enter the ring, it's a different story. Except if you have, especially if you have, if you have a little bit too much melanin, you have to overcome that first. And Obama had a whole lot of compromises that he had to do that many people don't realize, but he had to make a lot of compromises that is not in Michelle's DNA to do. She won't do some of the things that Obama had to do. All right, I leave it there for now. Mike Cisak says, I use government sources, and it seems there is quite aren't reputable to Egberto Willis. I respect government sources as long as it's not from Trump sycophants. So yes, I do. I do recognize those. All right, let's see what else we got here. Lee Grant says if Kamala demonstrates a fatal flaw, the Dems will throw Kamala under the bus like they did Biden and could then nominate Michelle. Oh, I like that. No, but I like Kamala. I like Kamala. I like Kamala. All right, let's see what else we got here. Para ver. Bridge MC says no one was thrown under the bus. Presidents have done this before. He did it. It was right. Exactly. Thank you. Maywood says, for one thing, she doesn't want to run and sure doesn't want the job. No, she loves her life. She loves her life. All right, let me scroll down before I get to my last. Hey, Alice the Water, how you doing, beautiful? I haven't seen you in a while, girl. I love how so many on the right are sticking up for President Biden. That's because that's the only person they thought they could beat. Now they're in deep caca. They are seeing the materialization of the landslide. Let's see. The stakes are too high to not go with the person guaranteed to win. There you go, Steig, Burger Creek, Burger Creek. All right, let's see what else we got here. Eric Hayes says, who wants to support the group that screwed it up? I don't know what you're talking about. All right, Alistair says, quit talking out both sides of your mouth, pie hole, Republic. You're funny, Alistair. Let's see. Vinny says, Steigenbergen Creek, you can't force anyone, LOL. She was there 8 years. She is done. Kamala is on fire. Let's just stay with that. She is on fire. All right, Paul Fleming says the Justice Department said it plans to press ahead with the obstruction charges against two January 6 defendants, despite the Supreme Court's recent ruling that limited the scope of federal statute. You know those crooks. AC Rodriguez, haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? Hello, all. He says. And I'm going to go to my first video. And here we go. I think you guys are going to like this, but I forgot to go ahead and publish to Daily Kos. It's done now. Daily Kos, folks, you guys are officially online now. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, the first one I'm going to show you is from the press secretary. Check this out. I think you're going to like it because this is for all you Trump sycophants here. Let me show you what Trump thinks about you. Former press secretary to Donald Trump, Stephanie Grisham, she appeared at the Democratic National Convention and she gave some tests. I mean, she's given it before, but being in the public like this, explosive testimony, she had a lot to say. I want you to listen to her speech, her short speech at the Democratic Convention, and then we'll take it on the other side.
I wasn't just a Trump supporter. I was a true believer. I was one of his closest advisors. The Trump family became my family. I spent Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's all at Mar-a-Lago. I saw him when the cameras were off. Behind closed doors, Trump mocks his supporters. He calls them basement dwellers. On a hospital visit one time when people were dying in the ICU, he was mad that the cameras were not watching him. He has no empathy, no morals, and no fidelity to the truth. He used to tell me, "It doesn't matter what you say, Stephanie. Say it enough and people will believe you." But it does matter. What you says matter, and what you don't say matters. On January 6th, I asked Melania if we could at least tweet that while peaceful protest is the right of every American, there's no place for lawlessness or violence. She replied with one word: no. I became the first senior staffer to resign that day. I couldn't be part of the insanity any longer. When I was press secretary, I got skewered for never holding a White House briefing. It's because, unlike my boss, I never wanted to stand at that podium and lie. Now here I am, behind a podium, advocating for a Democrat. And that's because I love my country more than my party. Kamala Harris tells the truth. She respects the American people, and she has my vote. Thank you.
Now, we've been hearing all the immoral, negative things that Donald Trump has been saying. He's spoken about badly about our heroes who served in the military. He's spoken about just about everybody in a negative context whenever he feels challenged or whatever. This should be no surprise to anyone. The question is, knowing how Trump really feels about the people who supports him, knowing that this guy has had such a immoral upbringing, knowing that this guy has sexually abused women, this guy had fraudulent schools that ripped off people's money. He refused to pay people who's done work for him, people in the working class, knowing all the things that he's done. He's stolen money from his own charity. Time and time again, it proves that he's a grifter. He proves that he's a criminal. He's a convicted felon. Yet there are those who will continuously support this person. The good thing about it is, as we're seeing these polls change, we're not looking at the absolute numbers of the polls, but as we see them change, I think people are starting to wake up. They're starting to wake up. And the sycophants will be left behind, but the landslide is on the way.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.
Absolutely, absolutamente join. Hey guys, let me tell you, that convention, I think, is likely, and I've been to several. I've been to two different conventions. One as an actual delegate for Bernie Sanders, the other one as a blogger in the press room. Now, and I tell you, I have never seen one put on this good. Do you even have a section for the multimedia people? I mean, it is like the best. Anyway, continuing with what we have, what we got here. Michael Rudden says, Mike C demonstrating how the far right thinks anyone that's not as far gone as they are labeled rhino, never realizing that they are the rhinos. Republicans used to be a party of small government and big business, not this culture war crap they're pushing. Mike C can't handle one of his own talking. I mean, I know. Fleming, affirmative action from generational wealth. You're going to see that one in a little bit. Don't spill the beans on that one because I have a narrative for that. Paul Fleming Sr. Lee Grant says Trump might give Musk a cabinet position. All right. Yeah, all we need is Musk, a failed billionaire. All we need is to give him a position. Yeah, people say, oh, but he created SpaceX. Oh, but he created what's the electric car? No, he didn't. He just stole somebody else's intellect. That's it. That's what capitalism does, right? Capitalism is the biggest thief on the planet. You steal other people's intellect, you profit on other people's intellect, and you make them believe that paying them does something. I know it's hard to accept because we are indoctrinated. Both Republicans and Democrats will tell you we're a capitalist country. One of these days, we'll see the light. Anyway, there was another Republican from Mesa, Arizona. This Republican mayor, I played him before, but this time he's at the DNC with a bigger audience and a more stark message. I want you to listen to John Giles, mayor of Mesa, Arizona, who comes and tell exactly why he will be supporting Kamala Harris. And not only that, he tends to like the progressive policies of Kamala Harris. Check this out.
I'm a lifelong Republican. So I feel a little out of place tonight, but I feel more at home here than in today's Republican Party. The grand old party has been kidnapped by extremists and devolved into a cult. The cult of Donald Trump. Trump doesn't know the first thing about public service. Like a child, he acts purely out of self-interest. We all need an adult in the White House, and we've seen what happens when we don't have one. Trump made a lot of lofty promises: unlimited economic growth, American manufacturing reborn, a secure border. Turns out Donald Trump was all talk. He wanted our votes, but he couldn't deliver a thing. But these days, my city of Mesa, Arizona is on the move. I'm going to ribbon cuttings every single week, all because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris reached across the aisle and they delivered for my conservative community and countless more across the country. My hero, John McCain, taught us to put country over party. And that's how Vice President Harris and Governor Walz will lead too. I have an urgent message for the majority of Americans who, like me, are in the political middle. John McCain's Republican Party is gone, and we don't owe a damn thing to what's been left behind. So let's turn the page. Let's put country first. Let's put adults in the room where our country deserves. Thank you.
Let's put adults in the room. You know, you have Trump talking that they don't like me. Oh, I don't. You listen to him, he's really like a child. I am better looking than Kamala Harris. Oh, my crowds are bigger than. Which president, which adult speak like that? For you MAGA folks in here, can't you see how childish and lack of intellect it takes to say that? I can't wait for the debate. While Donald Trump could debate Biden because Biden is brain, he has a great brain, but firing to answer a sycophant like Donald, not a sycophant, a psychopath like Donald Trump is difficult. Kamala Harris is gonna make mince meat out of him because he cannot he cannot output a coherent sentence. Oh, they don't like me. He doesn't even speak grammatically correct. He can't string a sentence together. That's your hero. Your hero is a rapist, a sexist, a sycophant, a xenophobe, I mean, you name it. That's the person you put on that altar. That's the person you are telling your kid. Okay? And I like what Miss Bergen Greek just said. We need to call him unhinged. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, my dear beautiful Stygian Burger Krieg. All right. Paul Fleming says favorability pre-convention, Harris plus Walz even, Trump minus 10, Vance minus 12, and Harris plus 4. Ha! Pre-convention. Let's see what it's going to look like after the convention. You're absolutely right about that, Brother Fleming. Paul Fleming Sr. says the biggest legacy Fox News has had is the irreparable damage it's done to friends and families throughout the nation. Its mere presence is a cancer to our country. You're absolutely right. AC Rodriguez says democracy is being the most powerful man in the world and stepping aside for your country to continue to have democracy instead of dictatorship. Trump will never be 1/10 the man Biden is. I could say that no better than you just said it, sir. E2247 says today at Hiroshima Peace Memorial, only structure left standing where the first atomic bomb exploded 6 August 1945. Signs are up with messages saying, Free Palestine, stop Gaza genocide, ceasefire now, release all hostages. Lee Grant says, looking forward to all the debates, especially Trump versus Kamala. Yeah, I also want to see the one with Mr. Ivy League as well. Well, both of them are Ivy League. It's funny. The Ivy Leaguers this time are the Republicans, and the public schoolers are the Democrats. Well, Howard is not a public school, nor Howard is cheap. My daughter went to Howard for her medical school. All right, Bree says, Egberto, can you play this 1 second YouTube clip? I don't know if I can. Is it a voice? The word obsession. Okay, I'm gonna put it on. I can't get voice though, but that is funny. I'm gonna play it, but I won't have the video. The word, you know, MSNBC gave him MSNBC gave him trouble for that sign because they said Obama was doing something other than crowd size. Breach, you are a bad, bad girl, Breach. You are a bad, bad girl. I don't know, Breach. I'm gonna have to talk to you. Patrick Magner is in the house. He says one of last callers this morning was making the point that his slurring might be from a recent stroke. I think his name was Oliver. Yeah, I remember that, Patrick. You're absolutely right about that. I remember that. I remember that distinctly. All right, let's see what. Yeah, and by the way, Lee Grant, you're right. Donald Trump destroyed Biden's staying in the election, not his presidency, just staying in the election. So let's get the nomenclature correct. Breach, I'm so disappointed in you, Breach. I am so disappointed in you. All right, let's go to what Senator Tammy Duckworth had to say. I want to honor our military here. You know, she lost 2 legs, so she don't get a chance to talk about bone spurs. So let's listen to what Tammy Duckworth had to say.
I went to war to protect America's rights and freedoms. So I take it personally when a 5-time draft-dodging coward like Donald Trump tries to take away my rights and freedoms in return, especially when it concerns my daughters. My girls, gamer girl Abigail and queen of the monkey bars, Miley, are everything to me. But they would never have been born without access to reproductive care. Because after 10 years of struggling with infertility, I was only able to have them through the miracle of IVF. But now, Trump's anti-woman crusade has put other Americans' right to have their own families at risk. Because if they win, Republicans will not stop at banning abortion. They will come for IVF next. They'll prosecute doctors. They will shame and spy on women. And if you think that's far-fetched, just look up what happened in Alabama last year. So let me say to every would-be parent, I see you, I'm with you. And together, in November, we'll send a message to old Cadet Bone Spurs. Stay out of our doctors' offices, and where you're at it, out of the Oval Office too. Look, my struggle with infertility was more painful than any wound I earned on the battlefield. So how dare a convicted felon like Donald Trump treat women seeking health care like they're the ones breaking the law? How dare J.D. Vance criticize childless women on cable news, then vote against legislation that would have actually helped Americans to start families? How dare the GOP endanger the dreams of countless veterans whose combat wounds prevent them from having kids without IVF, punishing our heroes for their willingness to serve? It's simple. Every American deserves the right to be called mommy or daddy without being treated like a criminal. Kamala Harris believes that. So let's make some history and elect her in November. God bless America.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news.
God bless America. Duckworth was so good. I mean, you notice what she said? Private bone spur? Yeah, because he didn't want to fight. I mean, I want them to keep talking about the 24-year service that our guy had, Tim Walz, because it opens the door for us to go ahead and start creating bone spur commercials on Donald Trump, who refused to serve. It also opens the door for us to talk about Donald Trump saying that they are losers, and I mean that military folks are losers. It opens the door for us to say Donald Trump called McCain a loser. Donald Trump, well, I don't think he called him a loser. He just said he wasn't a hero. It opens the door for us to make some fantastic videos to show he has disdain for the military. He has disdain for workers. He has disdain for everybody. So keep it up. Open that door, and we're going to walk right in. Just like they opened the door for immigration by not passing the bipartisan bill. So now it's on them. You hear me? But what I can't say your last name right. Let me go up and I gotta read your last name every time. Burger Krieg. Steigenberger Krieg. So I mean it's our look. All the stars have aligned because of the ineptitude of Donald Trump. The only sad part is that there are so many people that they have already fried their brains that it makes it difficult. But guess what, folks? Our poet laureate, Tom Zarnik, he has one that I've got to read. And let me copy it because with the scroll moving, it's going to scroll away and I'm going to miss it. So let me get that scroll up, paste it here so that I can read the latest limerick from our poet laureate, El Señor Tom Zornick. And here it goes. Everybody ready? Let's go. In Chicago at the DNC, the Democrats are making history by breaking the glass ceiling and nominating a biracial woman for president, no longer hesitant, but appealing to the majority. With diversity, equality, and inclusion, unlike the GOP, the party of exclusion, which makes us wary of all things scary. Like migrant crime and Biden inflation, they whine and proclaim America's decline as weary Trump and dreary Vance keep saying hateful and divisive things, behaving like princes and kings, keep playing the same sad old song and dance in a march that's morose and military, propose to fix big problems with a band-aid and a suture, while Harris and the Dems share their elation for the nation's bright future and waltz to victory. Once again, he knocked it out of the park. The one and only El Señor Tom Zornick. Harry K says, limerick of everything is history or saving democracy. Patrick Magner says, Trump had to cheat on his SAT exam. Someone else had to take it. Look, he's not very, very smart. He's not very, very smart. We have to remember that. It's Trump we're talking about, folks. I repeat, it's Trump we're talking about, folks. You know what I mean? He's not very smart. And that is when Michelle Obama talks about failing forward, or that's what she's talking about. And guess what? It is exactly that time for us to play a short segment of Michelle Obama, because this segment says it all. Donald Trump likes to make believe that those people who are getting a little hand, or those people that are going to public schools, or those people that are getting ahead, that somehow they are getting a break, right? The thing about it is, when he talks about things like affirmative action and he tries to make it look like this is something that people that are undeserving are receiving, when he talks about policies that support the middle class, whether that be things like childcare, etc., he would have you believe that somehow these are people unworthy of these issues. Of course, for all of you that watches our channel here, you know what we believe. Every single family should have access to these different programs because they've earned it for being Americans in a rich society where they produce and are ill paid. But let's leave that aside for a while. At the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, the classy Michelle Obama did a complete takedown of Donald Trump without once naming him, but illustrating in no uncertain terms that nothing that he has was really earned. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Kamala Harris is more than ready for this moment. She is one of the most qualified people ever to seek the office of the presidency. And she is one of the most dignified. A tribute to her mother, to my mother, and to your mother too. The embodiment of the stories we tell ourselves about this country. Her story is your story. It's my story. It's the story of the vast majority of Americans trying to build a better life. Look, Kamala knows, like we do, that regardless of where you come from, what you look like, who you love, how you worship, or what's in your bank account, We all deserve the opportunity to build a decent life. All of our contributions deserve to be accepted and valued. Because no one has a monopoly on what it means to be an American. No one. Kamala has shown her allegiance to this nation, not by spewing anger and bitterness, but by living a life of service and always pushing the doors of opportunity open to others. She understands that most of us will never be afforded the grace of failing forward. We will never benefit from the affirmative action of generational wealth. If we bankrupt a business or choke in a crisis, we don't get a second, third, or fourth chance. If things don't go our way, we don't have the luxury of whining or cheating others to get further ahead. No. We don't get to change the rules so we always win. If we see a mountain in front of us, we don't expect there to be an escalator waiting to take us to the top. No. We put our heads down. We get to work. In America, we do something. And throughout her entire life, that's what we've seen from Kamala Harris. The steel of her spine, the steadiness of her upbringing, the honesty of her example, and yes, the joy of her laughter and her light. It couldn't be more obvious. Of the two major candidates in this race, only Kamala Harris truly understands the unseen labor and unwavering commitment that has always made America great.
Notice how she puts it. He got the affirmative action of being able to fail forward. That is something that she's not the only one that has ever spoken about failing forward. You would have some of these comedians talk about they just wish they had the opportunity to fail. In other words, I wish I could fail and it not be fatal for my entire career. But so often, for some of us, we either don't get the chance to fail or don't get the chance to fail once because the stereotypes go off and you never get that chance again. So failing forward. She points out that it's amazing that so often, because of your bank account, what it actually gets you. Michelle Obama, without being very classy, just came out and pointed out the privilege that somebody like Donald Trump has. He could fail forward. He could go bankrupt. He could be a felon. He could be a criminal. He could be all these bad things. He could harm women. He could rape women. He could grab on women. He could steal from his charity. But because of the privilege he has, the ability to fail forward, the ability to not face the same justice system than the rest of us, that he can prevail and actually aspire to the highest office in the land. Do you know why people don't take us seriously when we talk about meritocracy? Do you understand why we can't be taken seriously? That someone, a grifter, could be a billionaire? That someone could create a company like Truth Social that has no value, but in an economic system that we have, somehow be able to accrue several $1 billion for one person? Economic fraud, the system is maybe? Michelle Obama did a great job without just going out and blasting Trump to show not only the inequities in our system implicitly, but she was able to do it in a manner that everybody understands, but they could still keep their joy and they could still keep their happiness on their face. Kamala Harris had to work for it. Donald Trump never did. All right, so that was great. You notice the best part about that with Kamala that I love, I mean, with Michelle Obama, is when she said, "You get to fail forward and still exist." She also said, "You can choke." She was talking about COVID. It was placed so nicely, the way she talked about all of his failures without mentioning his name, and just knowing that she's talking to an intelligent crowd, that they would get it. She didn't have to go out and specify it. Now I want to look. I want to show you guys something about the media, and this is important, about the centrist media, the media that tries to have it both ways. They try to keep favor. I want to show you. Mike Cisak went ahead and he wanted to say that Biden's speech was false. Okay, so how did he say it? He goes to CNN, which we consider fairly reputable, and I want to read you about crime rates and show you what is very interesting in the way they determine if things are true or not. Biden said on Trump's watch, the murder rate went up 30%, the biggest increase in history. Here is why they call it half truth now. I'm having it on the screen. The number of murders in the US rose by 5,795 from 2019 to 2020 when Trump was president. That jump was about 35%, making it the largest one-year increase since such data began being systematically reported in the early 60s. Here is why they only name it half truth. However, crime data analysis generally attribute most of the reasons for the murder spike to a confluence of the coronavirus pandemic and the social upheaval following the George Floyd's murder, not Trump's actions. I want to show you how stupid that statement is, and I don't use that phrase incorrectly. But had Trump not, according to Michelle Obama, had Trump not choked with the issue of COVID, we would not have had the problem that we've had that created the crisis, the crimes. And let's go to George Floyd. Had Trump taken a different stance on George Floyd, had the Americans seen that the country was going to take a criminally offensive, a criminal thug of an officer and say, we see that officer murder that guy on TV. We saw it. Had our leaders, had the Trump organization said, yes, that looks bad to me. We are going to do something about it, instead of jumping on the bandwagon about criminal. Look, then the riots in the streets would not have materialized, because they would have said, we are coming to solve the problem. No, that person who wrote this stuff here, he did not have the right to try to give some reason. Well, the reason why the crime rate was high wasn't Trump. That's not what Biden said. Trump says, watch, the murder rate went up 30% under Trump. That is exactly what happened. It's a 100% true. You see why I tell you, until we have more honest media, we get Trump and these guys, you screw things. All right. Patrick Merger says it's sad to see the commons conditioned to expect the struggle and have disdain for systems that will help them. We deserve more, and we might get it for the first time in 2 generations. I get you, brother. I get you. I get you. I get you. All right. Anyhow, I'm not even going to justify some of the stupid statements that I'm seeing. I hate to use that word, but my God, madre mía, por favor. Trump threw out the virus center Obama made for Ebola. Yep, which is why we were not prepared. Exactly. Let me put what Bridge wants to get onto the screen. Onto the screen. Here we go, Bridge MCP. All right. I like that, Bridge. Okay, let's go ahead and get that on the screen. All right, it says, Trump's fines and settlements over the years. Yep, very good one, Bridge. I don't have the time to read it. Let's see. Another lie by well, these guys believe the crap that they write. They genuinely do. Anyway, I got to get out of here. But folks, I need your support. Needed to continue supporting Politics Done Right, however best you can. You can support us by becoming a Patreon. How do you become a patron? You go to politicsandright.com/patreon. Politicsandright.com/patreon. Patreon is spelled Patreon. Let's see. Is anyone here preparing for a Trump win? I'm troubled that a few of my progressive friends are talking about buying a gun just in case. This is crazy. I tell them not to worry, but they say that if he wins, we may need guns. This disgusts me that they are thinking this way. Again, let them spend the money. All they will be doing is investing in the gun industry. Nothing, but again, it's not important. All right, second item. You can support us by becoming a paid subscriber to our newsletter. I ask you so kindly to go to politicsandright.com/newsletter. Please become a paid subscriber of the newsletter. That is how we can do all of this. As you can see, I cut videos up the gazoo. I've spread this on the every channel, Facebook, internet, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, blogs on Substack, my own blog, Egberto Willies, many places. If you want to know all the different places that we are, just go to politicsdoneright.com/info. But again, please support the program. And how can you best support the program? Support us by becoming a paid subscriber of our newsletter. I ask you so kindly to do it. If you can't, please offer it to somebody else and ask them to help us keep doing what we do to make sure we maintain democracy. I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out!
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.